Audit. Excellent connection. Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning. Good morning. Hope everyone is good. Yes or no?
Good evening.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Okay. So now.
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Good evening. Now yeah, it's time to go back on mute now. Once you have question, then you can mute it. I was seeing the moderator option. Somebody suggested me yesterday that you can make anybody moderator, but I think there should be some setting. But I'm right clicking to some people, but I don't have any option to make someone moderator to manage this. So I think I have to explore the Zoom setting. So I'll do that. So last time we talked about how the communication happens within in the network, right? Means in the network, how two computers communicate with each other. Yes or no? We understand that communication happens in the form of packets. Packets are having two parts, header and data. Header contains the control information, that is source information, as well as destination information. That means from where the packet has come and where it has to go. Means source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, and so on. Right? Header, that means payload, contains the exact information, exact data that you are going to send or what you are requesting. Those database command the data may have. Then we understand this packet will be will goes from source to destination, right? Will be carried by some transport medium that we call as transport protocol. TCP and UDP are two protocol for the transport, right? Either we can use UDP or we can use the TCP. Yes or no? So you understood very well, right? What is TCP and UDP? What is the difference? Which protocol we used in which for what purpose? Yes or no? And in normal communication, which protocol we should use? We have to use, right? You understand TCP is a reliable protocol. By UDP is not reliable, but it is faster. That's the reason people are using UDP as well, right? So you'll see the different scenario for TCP and different scenario for UDP. You understood very well what is three-way handshake. Yes or no? In TCP, before the communication happen, source will try to check whether whatever I am sending, destination is able to receive or not. Similarly, destination will also send some packet, right? And it will wait for acknowledge to ensure that source is sending, destination is receiving, and destination is sending, acknowledge, and source is receiving. Before both the end communication will be will be checked. That is called as establishment of connection, three-way handshake. Get in mind, when the connection will happen, then actual data transfer, that means actual communication will start. Get in mind? Understand? Now in the last class we understand how our computer will talk, right? Means if this computer you want to access, it can go to the internet, and if outside people also can come inside, right? Then we talk about the security of data. We understand that in physical company that we have security guard. Yes or no? To secure the office, right? So whenever anybody comes inside, security will ask from where you have come, where you have to go, and to whom you want to meet. Yes or no? And based on his information, like he might have got an email, or person might have call letter. Based on that, he will check it out inside of the database, and he will allow or disallow. Get in mind? And he will also enter your information on the register or computer somewhere. Yes or no? Means it will record the activity. So later on, if you want to check today how many people has came, right? Some people to have met with which all people, right? You can see the register. Yes or no? That is called something called as audit. Yes or no? You can see that that's the reason they are recording. He will ask you to fill that information and sign it. to ensure. So at the end of the day or any time we want to see at particular day who has came, who has gone, to whom they met. Yes or no? Sometimes they are capturing your photo also to identify you, right? Similarly, in the network also, whatever devices that you are having, right? Whatever activities those devices are being recorded, each and every act in the form of logs. Similarly, register entry that security guard is making. Similarly, these devices also recording the activity in the form of logs. At what time connection has came, what time this completed, what activity happened, what was the user, from which IP, what the system IP. Based on the type of devices, they record the activities, right? So each and every device in the network, right? In the enterprise network means bigger company, it's a compliance requirement that any device would be eligible to deploy in the enterprise if they have capability to record the activities. Get a point? Those activities we call as logs or events, right? It's a full game of event and means logs. Full game of log. When you do the security monitoring, right? It's a full game of logs only. Based on the logs only, we are going to come whether we are going. Camera, just hold down. I think camera is stopped. Camera has some problem, it seems. Huh? Getting the battery back. Change the battery back. Something happened. Just hold down, okay? Camera has some problem. Just hold down. बैटरी का पंगा हो गया इसमें तो. अच्छा, इतने देर काम कैसे कर रहा था फिर बिना बैटरी के? अच्छा अच्छा, sorry, I think battery is there, but I have not put this. Battery got discharged. Just hold down, okay? Just hold on a minute. Let me change the actual continuous power supply. I was taking some photos yesterday, so I put the inbuilt battery, outside battery inside that, but it should be through direct power. Otherwise, you have to change the battery again. Just hold on for a moment, okay? I'm changing the battery. I was thinking, is there any problem in the camera? Because it's long time since around in year we are using like this. Mute your mic, guys, please. There should not be any noise from your end. Hello, yeah. Okay, so now I'm visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, go and mute again. So what I was telling is, it's a compliance requirement that any device will be eligible to deploy on the corporate enterprise network if it has capability to record the activity in the form of logs, right? It's a full game of logs only. From security monitoring perspective, we are security analysts. How we monitor the network, what are activity happening, what activity not happening, based on the logs only. We will have various security devices that we are going to talk about today onwards. So based on those devices, whenever any activity happens, good activity, bad activities, or whatever activity happening, right, they will record in the form of logs only. And being a security analyst, you are going to monitor those logs. You are going to monitor that particular log is for what activities, right? So you are going to have billions of logs, right? Billions of logs in 24 hours. So any logs can be suspicious. Means log means activity. Yes or no? Some activity will happen, then only log will generate. Log is nothing but the activity, like what is source IP, what is destination IP, what is destination port, from maybe some device will generate username, right? So we will come to know who has done this activity, from what IP happened, and it try to connect on which device, yes or no, which port, how many information has been downloaded, uploaded, what is the file in case of email, right? So these are different activities based on the type of devices will be recorded in form of logs, right? So you are going to monitor those logs. You are going to check whether that particular log is for real activities, legitimate activity, or a suspicious activity. Understand? So we'll have various security devices. Those devices will generate the logs, and based on those logs, we'll understand and identify whether particular activity is suspicious or not. If it is suspicious, then further investigation and action. Sometimes you may have access to take the action yourself based on the company to company. If you have access, you can take something blocking activities or something you can do yourself, or maybe you have to respond, means assign that particular case for further action to the respective team. Get your mind? So let's understand now how security guards secure your network, right? In the digital network, we have the firewall, right? We have the firewall which does exactly what is being done by the security guard in physical company, physical office. Similar work done by firewall in digital network, right? The firewall we are generally placing behind the router. In the corporate network, firewall will generally placed one firewall at least. You may have internal firewalls in the later part, I'll tell you, right? But one firewall you definitely have in the gate. Security guard you have in the gate. Apart from that, sometimes you have security guard inside also. Yes or no? To check maybe security guard has done a miss. Yes or no? Miss means he had security guard and he's a legitimate person, but after coming in, that person is doing some malicious activities. He said, I'll go to HR department, but he's going to IT department and doing some, distortion, some illegal activities doing. So you may have further security guards. Yes or no? You are not relying on one layer of security. That means only on the gate. Yes or no? Similarly happens. Similar plan we do on the digital network also. Yes or no? The firewall is generally, you will have one firewall generally behind the gateway, right? Behind the gateway router, but it is a gate only. That is the reason this firewall we call as gateway firewall or perimeter firewall. So this is the firewall. What device it is? Firewall. It is a firewall, but since it is deployed on the gate, so this firewall will be called as gateway firewall. But the device is firewall. Where we have deployed, based on that only I'm telling you, this is on gate. That's the reason we call as gateway firewall or perimeter firewall. Getting your point? Okay. So now, for example, now you want to access, you want to communicate with this computer. Want to communicate with this computer. For example, this is the Facebook network. Okay, and this is a server where Facebook is deployed. You know what I mean? Once you access the Facebook, once you try to access the facebook.com, the communication will happen in the form of what? Packet. Packet is having two parts, header and data. So what header will be have? If you see, mute my please. Noise is coming. Mohan. So this system is accessing facebook.com, which are hosted here, right? So when you see the header, so one packet will be generated, right? Communication will have in the form of a packet. We see the packet. What information? What mainly information you see in the packet? Tell me. For example, so if you see the packet, you see the source IP. Source IP. So what will be source IP? What is source IP? 106.51.2.24. Then it will have a packet will have a, because header control force and destination information, right? So what is the destination IP?
199 dot.
This one?
199.
199.0.2.200. Apart from that, it will also capture a source port. Which port the packet left from your host, this particular host. So what is the source, or what would be the source port?
Random source port.
What is the source port?
488.
Any idea, anybody?
443. It could be any port.
443. It can be any port.
Depending on the service it is using.
Any port, source port will be any port more than 1024, not less than. Okay. Whenever you are having forward communication, means communication is started by this particular host only, right? So source, this communication is started from this port, this host only, right? So whenever packet goes, source port can be any random port. Every time it will be different maybe, but it will be always more than 1024. So for example, this time random port number have captured 5624. 5624. Okay. And now destination port
80.
What is destination port?
Depends upon the service what is running. 443.
So what you are accessing right now? Facebook, right?
443.
You don't know.
443 or 80?
80 or 443.
Facebook using HTTPS. And what is the
HTTPS.
HTTPS?
443.
443.
Hypertext SOC protocol.
Yes, 443. I hope you have gone through well-known port numbers. When you access the Facebook, you type. If you don't type also, automatically setting has been done on the DNS that when you type facebook.com, automatically it will route to HTTPS. It will become not HTTP. So ideally you should type https://facebook.com. But Facebook understand that people does not know that, they directly type facebook.com. So whenever you type facebook.com, it will redirect to the https://facebook.com. So facebook.com is HTTPS, means HTTP secure. Yes or no? Understand? So what is the port number for HTTPS? 443. I hope you have gone through the well-known port numbers. DNS port number
53.
53.
53.
53.
Kerberos 88.
88, right? For
Yes.
LDAP.
389. 389.
LDAP port number
389.
389.
89.
389.
389. 9.
389. Yes or no? POP 3.
110.
110.
110.
113.
110.
POP 3 110. Whoever said any other port number, you are wrong. One question you are not able to answer one question. Yes or no? The chances of selection has been reduced now by answering one wrong answer, because these are frequently asked questions. Being a security analyst, we are doing because we are analyzing the logs, right? In every log, if you see that you analyze, because every packet captures the port number, right? And based on port number only, we understand what communication is happening. But being a security analyst, you don't know the port, means you're not doing the analysis. Yes or no? Or you don't have proper knowledge. So you have to ensure that you remember these port numbers. Yes or no? That is important information. Radius port number, anybody knows? Radius?
18138.
Anybody else? Just go through this port number, okay? Well-known port number is very important. So now here, what is the destination port number? 443. Right? So now packet will leave from your host, from your system, and now you're accessing facebook.com. So it will go to the internet and it will head to the router. Facebook also have the gateway router, of course. Yes or no? The packet will head to the router now. Yes or no? So again, this first you will have a header, right? Of course, you will have header in envelope also. Above the envelope, you have address, right? Similarly, first header, then data. So once this packet hit to the router, router will open the header part. Router will open the header part, of course, because router is which layer device?
Layer 4.
Layer 3.
I'm not talking about the digital router. I'm talking about the router, right? Standard router, layer 3, right?
L3.
And layer 3 devices, layer 3 means network address, right? Layer 3 devices can understand the IP address. Yes or no? IP address comes under the layer 3.
Layer 3.
Means the devices which understand IP address, we call as layer 3 devices, like your router. Yes or no? Router, since it is a layer 3 device, this data information is layer 6, layer 7, layer 5, layer 6, layer 7, right? You know, so, but router does not have visibility on layer 5, 6, 7. Yes or no? So router will not be able to open this data part. Means router cannot understand whenever packet comes, right? Router does not understand what is there on the data part. Means router cannot read the data information. Get your mind? Yes or no? It can only open the header part of the packet, and header also limitation, only IP address. It header having the port number also, source port, destination port, but and protocol, but source, destination, and protocol comes under which layer? Port and protocol comes under which layer?
Transportation 4
layer, right?
Transportation layer.
Protocol comes under transport layer number 4, but your router is which layer device? 3 and 3 layer IP address. So it will open the header part, but only will be able to read the source IP and destination IP. Get a mind? It will not be able to understand, read what is the source port, destination port, and protocol. Understand? So now router will open up the header part and check what is the source IP and what is the destination IP. Right? Router is kind of the person who can tell the path pradarshak in Hindi. Router means the device which will show the path, right? You are from Bangalore, okay, I have to go to HSR layout, from where I can go, right? So that person knows the path and go, okay, go dead end right, take the dead end right, then take the left, second left. Yes or no? So that person is giving you the route, right? Path. Similar work is done by the router in digital network. Yes or no? Now, how you come to know the route path means, you know, you might have gone somewhere, you are the person, right? It is there in your mind. Similarly, router in store the routing information where? Anybody knows?
DNS.
Routing table.
On the routing table. Router has the routing table inside that, right? So generally, that is what work is being a network team. They create the routing table. They create, if they enable the connectivity, they will creating the routing table. Okay, from any connection coming from this outside and this particular interface of the router, this network is connected. Yes or no? So it will have the information from which interface of the router, which network or which device is connected, right? Or other devices, then other devices, what is the whole path, whole route. Route means route, router. Yes or no? So when a packet hit to the router, router will open up the layer 3 information from the header and check what is the source IP, what is the destination IP. Then it will check on its routing table. Yes or no? And check, yes, I know the path, I know the route, right? The router work is just to route the traffic, route the communication. So as soon as packet comes on particular interface of the router, it will route to the another interface to show the path based on the routing table. If routing table does not have a path, then communication will not happen after router. Get it? Then network team has to create the Create the routing
routing
table.
path.
Means enable the
Routing
connectivity. Yes or no?
profiles.
Understand? There is a command. That command we call as to identify where the connection is belonging. For example,
Trace route.
just example. Yes, correct. Just example I'll give. You from outside user, this particular user, you want to give the access to this system, this particular application hosted here, right? But when this user is accessing, this particular application, he is not able to access. Connection is not going through. Now he complained to the particular manager that I'm not able to access this application. Please give the access. He said like access is already given from the application. He has already given the access, right? But might be somewhere his connection is blocking on the whole network. Yes or no? Now he complained to the network team, firewall team, saying that the person I have given the access, but he is not able to access. His going page cannot be this kind of error. He is not at all getting the application page. See, if he is able to get the application page, like for example, facebook.com, you're accessing, you're able to get the page. That means there is no connectivity problem. You're able to reach the page. If you're not able to log in, then Facebook application team will do the troubleshooting, not the network team. But if you're not at all getting the Facebook page, that means problem may not be from application end, because other people are able to access. If other people are able to access, only you are not able to access, then problem must not be from application end. Problem will be from network end. That is the reason this manager came back, gone to the network team, and he said, here, I have given access, but he is not able to access. Then now network, from a network perspective, understand the problem may not be always from here, from our company perspective. Problem may be users, internet, maybe problem user it belongs to any company, where their firewall, their router, or somewhere it is blocking. Yes or no? Or maybe their ISP is blocking. Or maybe somewhere in the ISP, there are multiple router in between. Yes or no? And ISPs also have firewall. Generally, they are not blocking, right? But maybe blocked somewhere. So router network team will tell that it's very difficult to identify where the connection is exactly being blocked. Yes or no? Understand, this is a problem, right? How we identify where exactly blockages are happening? Because here also can block, here also can block, and here also can block. Then what network team will ask user to do?
Trace routing.
Run the trace route or trace out command. Yes, sir. Trace out command is in Windows and trace out command is on Linux. Both operating system, this command is available. Yes or no? So in Windows, you can run the command trace out. I think it's tracer right in the Windows, and trace route in
Yes, sir.
in Linux, right? So what network team asks this user type is trace out, go on the command line CMD, go on the type search CMD and open the black color window and type this command trace out, then space IP address. Yes or no? Then once you run this command, it will check all connectivity. It will send the packet. Okay, it reached. First of all, it will go to your company gateway, then gateway IP. Okay, I am able to reach. Then your ISP IP I am able to reach. Then here, whatever hosts are coming, router are coming, all router IP address it will give, right? So from which, see, in your network hold to hold connectivity, there are multiple router. Your company router, then ISP router, their local gateway, then national gateway, then international gateway, and then other company gate, Singapore gateway. Then it will reach out to whole path. Like similarly, you travel from here to US, for example, through car, for example, right? So which all district will come, which all city will come, right? Stops, gates, it will mention, it will record. So wherever, for example, last IP is this router IP. After that, it is not going here. Then network will understand, okay, this is the router which has been blocked. Rest IP is firewall IP, the firewall has blocked. Rest IP is, for example, you have taken the internet connection from ACT, and ACT IP is the last IP. After ACT router connection is not going through, you'll understand, yeah, problem is from ACT, from your internet only. It is blocking, check with your ISP. If it is my router IP, then we'll understand maybe there is no route in the route. Understand? So trace out command we use to troubleshoot the network problem. You go home and run this command trace out. That's a homework for you. trace route.
Sir, I got a question.
Yes.
So is it safe to assume that any port under 1024 are a static port and any port over 10024 are dynamic?
No. Port is not static or dynamic. I said below 1024 port number, a well-known port number, and many of the port number have been reserved for specific services. Get in mind? However, 1024 you can use any free port for any services. So what I'm saying is, when you communicate forward communication, source port always will be more than 102 for any port, while destination port is based on the service. If you are doing FTP, port number will be 2021. If you are doing SFT, port number 22, telnet 23, mail sending 25, HTTP you are doing 80, HTTPS 443, right? That is what port has reserved in the public service. Okay. So now you understand how to do the network problem. So you understand, then once the packet will come, router will open the header and check what is the source IP, what is the destination IP, and check the routing table. If route is there, it will route. The router work is just source and destination and route, just to show the path, right? So now, as per the path, it is having the path. Now the packet will reach to the where? To the firewall. Now the packet will hit to the firewall. So firewall is which layer device?
Layer 4.
Layer 3.
Layer 3
Layer
and
Layer 4.
L3 and L4.
4.
L3 and L4. Yes or no? Means you work on network layer
3 and layer
as
4.
well as transport layer. So
Transport layer.
when the packet will hit to the firewall, which part it will open? Header or packet, header or data, or both?
Header.
Firewalls
Both.
have state
Depends on
inspections, which will open everything.
I am
Firewall
talking about
feature.
standard firewall.
L,
It's a standard network security firewall. Okay,
Only
which
header
work
will
on the
open.
layer 3 and layer 4. So my question is, in this packet where you have header also and data also, which part your file will be
Header part.
able to open? Only header or data or
part.
both?
Header part.
The header part.
Only the header part, because
part only.
previous
Got it.
class we
Header
told
part
only
only,
application.
and the
As
and the transport file,
default
TCP.
firewall.
So
People who
header
said
and data both, it will, because it has state inspections. It will check all the
People-
data.
I am, see,
It
I
will
already
check the
mentioned here.
ports.
It do not use your
It will check the ports.
other sense. I am specifically mentioning here, it's a layer 3, layer 4 firewall. Right? Layer 3, layer 4. Don't do a static packet inspection or something. And I'm specifying here, it's a layer 3, layer 4 firewall, right? So people who are telling that only it will be able to open the header, they are right.
Correct, because in application only you said in the last class can
Yes or
open
no?
the
Other
open the
people
data.
are wrong. I don't know why you did not understand.
Yeah.
The firewall is layer 3, layer 4, and layer header means IP at the port number protocol comes under layer 3 and layer 4, right? The data comes under layer 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. because
How,
it was-
being a layer 3 and layer 4, how the firewall will be able to open the data packet, data part? No, right? You're wrong. One question is gone. Yes or no? If you are never able to 3, 4 question, means you are rejected. Concept has to be clear. Has to be clear, right? So you understand now? This particular firewall will be opening the header part. Data part, it will not have visibility. Get in mind? So now, once the packet hit to the router, firewall is layer 3, layer 4 device, and it will check what is the source IP, from where the packet has come, where the packet has to go, means what is the destination IP, what is the source port. Generally, fire do not bother about from security perspective what is source port, but it will check, it has the visibility, and what is the destination port, means on which particular port number the communication has to happen, right? The packet is saying. Now, based on that, and what is the protocol, also will understand whether TCP or UDP.
Sir,
Now,
I have a question.
yes.
From SOC perspective, what will happen if you fix the firewall before the router? Suppose first comes the firewall.
I'll tell you on the radio. See,
Okay.
generally, it's an enterprise. It is recommended. Mute the mic, please. Mute the mic back. It is recommended. He is asking that. But let me complete something. Then only you ask. Group level, do not stop me in between on the flow.
Sure.
Okay? Now this time I'm explaining you, but do not do that next time. Once I take a pause, then only you ask question. He is saying that why we are deploying router here? Why can't we directly connect to the firewall, right? Because you understand firewall is also layer 3 and layer 4 means layer 3 means routing. Firewall can do the routing work also and firewall work, layer 4 work also. Why we are not deploying here? Because why we are not deploying is because firewall is for security, not for doing the routing. Yes or no? In small companies, you can directly deploy on the firewall, or like here also I have deployed, same thing I have done. I have directly plugged in the terminated my cable to the firewall. I don't have the gateway router. After that, I have layer 3, layer 3 switch, which I'm using for Wi-Fi, but I have terminated directly in the firewall. But why not in the enterprise? Because router also takes a lot of resources when it does the routing. If firewall does the routing also and filtering also, that means security also, it has a lot of resource utilization. Yes or no? And that's the reason let's router do the routing and let's firewall do the switching.
Right. Sir,
security. Yes
right.
or no?
Sir, my question was, once the firewall does its work and if the data is passed through and the router can easily route to which direction it can go, right? That way also can happen. If
what is the use of router?
It can route, check the IP address.
Means router means two port of the router should be on different port. If connected from one should be on different network, connected to one network to another network. If you have firewall, which is part of internal network, and this external network, definitely firewall has to do the routing. Yes or no? Because two interface on different network. When routing is already done by the firewall, then what is the use of placing the router here?
No, actually, I was thinking router does the routing, just routing.
Router does the routing means what is the meaning of routing? Routing means because this network is different and this network is different. So router tells, okay, this particular network is connected to this interface. So if you are placing firewall, so firewall, this network, internal network is different and this outer network is different. Again, two networks. So firewall has to do routing only, right? Then only traffic will go from one port to another port. Okay. Directly you're taking the WAN port traffic to LAN port, right? Or different port. So you have to do routing, right? The firewall is already showing the path. Then what is the sense of deploying the router? Because firewall has already done the routing work. Yes or no? Understand? Right. That is the reason in the enterprise network, we are deploying router on the gateway instead of directly terminating the connection on the firewall. Otherwise, firewall will also have to do the routing. Yes or no? And like small companies, you may have one person to do everything, but big company, for HR operation, we have different people, recruitment, we have different people, and salary processing, we have different people to avoid the load because loads are more. Get it? Similarly, in the enterprise network, it is recommended to have the dedicated layer 3 device to do the routing, and firewall will use for filtering means for security. Get it? So ideally, enterprise firewall should be behind the router. This is the real-time deployment which we do in the company. Clear now? So as I said, please mute your mic. Guys, please make your mic. Do not if you are unmuting, and please mute. Otherwise, I have to remove you. I don't have moderator now. It's too many times I have already told you. If you're not removing, if you're not muting after asking question, in next 1 minute, I have to remove your. I have to send you in the waiting room. Okay. So what I was telling is, as soon as, again repeating, as soon as packet hit to the firewall, firewall will open on the header part because firewall does not have visibility to the data. 5, 6, 7. I'll have to move in the meeting room, waiting room. This person, Kumar. Let him. He's not listening. Let him not put in meeting room. And now you will not be able to join. Okay. So what I was telling is, repeat karna pad raha hai. When the packet hit to the firewall will open the header part and it will read what is the source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, and protocol. Right now, firewall has to decide here, right? Because firewall has security device like security guard. Firewall is also called as network filtering device, packet filtering device. Yes or no? It filters the traffic. Filter means you have a filter, right, on the tea, right? You put tea, only the actual, the water type tea will go, and tea, leaves will be outside only. You can remove it, right? Similar work is done by the firewall. That is the reason firewall we call as traffic filtering device. Filter out the unwanted traffic. Yes, or unwanted means invalid traffic, suspicious traffic. It will filter out. That's the reason
ACL, sir.
firewall is also security. Security means it filter out the traffic. Yes or no? So on what basis? For example, the connection came here from this particular source IP source port and destination IP source port. Now firewall has to check whether connection has to be allowed or disallowed. Like security guard, it will check from where you have come, whom you want to meet, from your address to company address, person name, and then security guard will check whether the person has to be allowed or disallowed. The security guard check based on the backend database, like somebody has sent an email or it has the pass, right? Now firewall also should check based on some reference whether the connection has to be allowed or disallowed. So on what basis firewall will decide whether connection has to be allowed or disallowed? Security guard also having predefined information to allow or disallow. Yes or no? We have already communicated. Person does not have pass, disallow. Yes or no? Person has the plus, check on the database and allow. Backend database, right? Yes or no? So that information we call as access control. Based on what
ACL.
we can control, right? In the firewall, to control the access means what connection has to be allowed and what has to be disallowed. It is there on a table. Firewall has a table, and that table is called as
Access control list.
ACL means access control list. The table is called as ACL, access control list, right? Based, so whenever
using that mask instead of somewhere.
So whenever any connection coming in from particular source IP, particular destination IP, will check whether particular source IP we have to allow or disallow, or coming to particular destination IP on particular port number, or coming from particular source IP going towards particular destination IP should be disallowed, or particular connection coming from particular IP address is suspicious, I have dropped the packet, firewall will disallow. Yes or no? So on what basis it will check? It will have the detail on the ACL, that is called as access control list. Now who will tell the firewall? Who will inform the firewall to put the data on the ACL? Based on that, it can allow or disallow, right? So mute your mic, please. Now there are various vendors. Somebody is not muting. Muhammad Arif, I have to move you on the waiting room. Waiting room. So what I was telling is, firewall has the ACL access control list. Based on that, it controls the access, means what connection has to be allowed, what connection has to be disallowed based on the ACL. For example, so firewall comes under software and hardware model. Means you may have software application which you can deploy on the server, same work, or you can buy a hardware device. Yes or no? You can have a hardware that you can place. Ideally, this network firewall, security firewall, most of the company will deploy on the hardware device. They will buy a box firewall. We also have the firewall here box, right? 40-gate firewall, 40-gate, 40-gate firewall. So it may have mostly a hardware, right? There are multiple vendors which are the firewall is the technology, right? To filter out the unwanted traffic, right? Unwanted incoming and incoming outbound traffic also. Firewall does not only secure that connection coming in from outside inside, but outbound also it's secure. Means what traffic should go outside. So inbound, incoming, and outgoing both, inbound and outbound both, it filter out, right? So there are multiple firewall vendors. Firewall is the technologies, right? Like your bike is the technologies. There are multiple vendors, multiple companies who develop the bike, who manufacture the bike. Yes or no? Similarly, firewall is the technology. There are multiple vendors who develop the firewall. Yes or no? What are some of the famous vendor? Anybody?
Yes.
Cisco, sir.
Palo Alto. Fortinet, Checkpoint.
Cisco having multiple, products such as
ASA.
They are having PICs and some more. Okay, and
Firepower.
they are having Palo Alto firewall. This is a vendor. Palo Alto.
FortiGate.
Palo Alto firewall. There are FortiGate firewall. Fortinet. Fortinet is the company.
FortiGate is a firewall.
Fortinet and FortiGate is the firewall name.
Checkpoint.
What is the name of Palo Alto firewall? It's Palo Alto firewall only or some different name?
SOAR.
Huh?
It's Palo Alto only.
It's Palo Alto firewall like this, na?
Yes.
XOR.
Fortinet, it has FortiGate firewall, right? You have Checkpoint firewall also. These are some of the famous vendors. You have to remember, okay?
CrowdStrike.
Huh?
CrowdStrike too.
CrowdStrike is the
That
firewall.
are ADR.
They have only
ADR,
ADR,
no,
SDR,
no,
right?
sir.
They don't have firewall.
CrowdStrike is not firewall.
It's for XDR now.
Sonic Wall Firewall.
Sonic Wall is SME kind of firewall. Sophos is also a SME level of firewall.
Juniper.
SME means small and medium enterprise, right? But these firewall are enterprise, means bigger enterprise. In any of the company, you will see this kind of firewall. Cisco, Palo Alto, Fortinet, Checkpoint, or Juniper. These are 5-6 vendors, are famous vendor. One of them you can see in any company. Apart from you have Sonic Wall, you have Wall
Sophos,
CyberRoam, Sophos, right? These are some of the small scale firewall, means SME level of firewall, small and medium enterprise level of firewall, right? For example, in our case, we have bought this firewall from Cisco. It is Cisco ASA firewall. It is okay. Similar one was done by all the firewall, but for example, I am taking that you have bought this firewall from whom?
Cisco.
From Cisco. It's Cisco ASA firewall. Okay. So now you know what happens. Once you deploy the Cisco ASA firewall here, you have to give the connectivity to Cisco cloud. You have to give the connectivity to Cisco cloud, for example. When Cisco cloud means Cisco cloud, which are hosted in the Cisco, right? Cisco having their own data center, and where they have R&D team, research and development team, R&D, right? So once you deploy the firewall, your firewall will be connected to Cisco cloud servers. Cisco cloud server. Not only the same functionality for all the firewall. You buy it from Palo Alto, they will be connected to the Palo Alto R&D team servers, right? So you know what happens? Once you fire the firewall to connect, right, to their R&D team, means R&D servers. So Cisco having their R&D team, research and development team, which always does the research. What are the IP addresses are involved in any kind of suspicious activities? Yes or no? Maybe some of IP addresses sending malware emails, phishing emails. Yes or no? Involved in DDoS, involved in SQL injection attack, right? So these are the so these are the different scenarios, right? Suspicious IPs, those IPs called as suspicious IPs. So Cisco R&D team does the always research to find out what are the IP addresses are involved in any kind of suspicious activities. Yes or no? Malicious activities. They also having a tie-up with many other third-party companies who does this similar kind of results. They do themselves also, and they collect such information from many other third parties, research company as well. I mean, what are the IP addresses are involved in any kind of suspicious activities, right? So as soon as firewall will come to know the set of IP addresses, they will updating the information on the ACL. Yes or no? This is the ACL, and they will updating this information on the ACL. This is the ACL access control list, right? So now some set of IP, for example, which have been, so this will be here, right? So as soon as any connection come in, if particular IP address is a part of this ACL, right, then firewall will deny the connection considering the IP address is a part of malicious activity. Yes or no? IP address is involved in any kind of malicious activity, and based on that, firewall will filter out the traffic. In that case, connection will be denied. Similarly, when you access something outside, go outside, come to the firewall will check the ACL whether IP address is mentioned or not, and it will deny the connection on particular IP address. Understand? So that is this IP address. This list ACL is having two parts now: dynamic list as well as static list. Right? Dynamic list. One moment. ये बाबा हो जाता मेरे से. So what I'm saying, dynamic list, this ACL, this is dynamic, and this is static, right? Who is not on mute, who does not know that, will put you on the waiting room. So yes.
Hello, sir.
Guys, mute your mic.
Hello, sir.
Let me complete this topic, then only you can ask.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
So dynamic
Okay,
and static list, right? So why we call it dynamic? Because this list is dynamic. Why it is dynamic? Because, for example, there might be possible that some sort of IPs which are involved in any kind of suspicious activities right now, currently, right? They will update it here. Maybe possible that because you understand IP address are also dynamic IP address. For example, this one of the service provider has assigned one of the IP to him. Right? He started sending, doing suspicious activities, doing launching some attack, DDoS attack, or sending some malware emails, or spreading some bulk email, spam emails. Many of the people have reported such emails as spam malwares. Those company came to know because this company collect the information from multiple sources, right? Then your IP address will become blacklisted IP address. Yes or no? Then all firewall is, once they will come to know, they will start updating your IP address and malicious IP address, right? Then once you access anything, your connection will be blocked. But next time, after few years, for example, few months, particular IP address has been assigned to some person, good person. Yes or no? Some good person. And now, if you try to access, your connection will also be blocked because you have not done any malicious activity, but the IP address, same IP address which have been assigned to other people before, he has done some malicious activity, your IP has been blocked, right? Now I have a Cisco firewall. I can request my ISP firewall team that this particular IP address is not malicious, vendor IP address, kindly whitelist. Yes or no? They whitelisted it. Some more vendor will come to know that IP address is no more blacklisted. Yes or no? But they have to remove those IP. So this is the continuous process. As soon as firewall vendor will come to know these set of IPs are now the part of suspicious list, suspicious IP, then they will add those IPs on the list, ACL. Get it, mind? And as soon as they come to know the IPs are no more blacklisted, they will remove from the list. Why it is updated? It should not happen, right? The IP address is not blacklisted right now, it's still being blocked. Yes or no? Or it should not happen, maybe because some IP address which were not blacklisted yesterday are now involved in security activity. So now that IP has to be blocked. Yes or no? That's the reason this list we call it dynamic. Dynamic keeps changing. Yes or no? So this list is dynamic list, and that is what we call a signature. Yes or no? This is signature is nothing but predefined information. Yes or no? Which keeps updating. Yes or no? We call it signature. So in the form of signature, you will receive the signature, a regular signature as well as high severity signature will be deployed on real time. As soon as firewall from okay, this is high severity, some kind of ransomware attack happened from particular IP address. Yes or no? Some malware, well-known malware impacted multiple companies. So as soon as they come to know, these are the high severity signature. and they will release and update your firewalls on the real time as soon as came to know. And some of the signature are scheduled. Let's say low severity or medium severity signature, every Wednesday they will be updating. Many security vendor, they schedule a fixed time, fixed day on which they will update the signature. Yes or no? So this ACL update will be part of signature. Apart from that, you also have the static ACL. Yes or no? For example, one of your vendor want to access some of the resources, but it is being blocked by the firewall. False positively. False positively means the vendor is legitimate, your customer only, vendor only, but firewall is saying it's a blacklisted IP and hence it is blocking. Yes or no? So now you have the static list where you can create your own policies. Static list is also very, very important, right? Which traffic you want to allow or which traffic you don't want to allow. You may have the combination of port and protocol. Yes or no? For example, right now this particular customer is being blocked, right? IP being blocked, right? I can make that IP address entry on the static list. Once allow in this static list, right? Even though the entry is on the dynamic, but static rules, static policies have more priority. Yes or no? You know what I mean? So if entry is on the static list, allow, then dynamic list it will not check, it allow the connection. Means your policies have the first preference compared to dynamic. If anything you want to allow, it will allow. Anything you want to deny, even entry is not on the dynamic list, it will still deny. Right? So that is called as a static role or static policies that you can create on the static list. It can be the common, for example, if this particular IP 106.51.2.24, if you want to disallow, means any traffic coming from this particular IP address going towards any of the IP address inside my network should be blocked. Yes or no? Then you can block this IP itself. Get what I mean? A simple command on Cisco firewall, run command. Just run this command space IP address. The IP address will be blocked on the firewall. Any connection going inside to this particular IP address will be blocked. Any connection coming from this particular IP inside, it will block. Means all communication will be blocked once you execute the run command. Means once you execute run command, means IP address will be added on the static rule static list. Get what I mean? However, you can create a role based on the combination of IP address and port number, right? You can create a role, for example, this is a Facebook firewall, Facebook server, right? You want Facebook is accessible on which port number?
443.
443, right? 443. But in the Facebook applications, there are many other resources available. They are having database and some other information, other application which are accessible in different ports. But you can't give the access to everyone to different application. You want to give because if you want to allow anybody from outside should be able to connect to Facebook on this particular IP address, right? But if they will be able to connect to this particular IP address, here you have some other application also which are on different port number. Yes or no? So that should not be allowed. Yes or no? So you can create a role, then anybody from outside can access this particular destination machine on this particular IP address, but port number should be only 443. No other port number. Yes or no? So you can create a static policy such as any means. This is not any road. It's any means source IP can be any. Yes or no? And destination IP should be 119.0.2.200 and destination port should be 443 and protocol, for example, TCP. Yes or no? This is called a static rule or static policy. Yes or no? Understand? So if you allow this kind, any of the IPs can access the facebook.com. If they try to access in any other port, for example, 43 or 45, 25, it will be blocked by the firewall. Get my? Or these kind of static rules you can create under the static list. Get my? Any IP itself also you can allow a block. Any ports also you can allow a block. For example, let's say, for example, 445. 445 number, port number is NetBIOS port number. SMB port number, NetBIOS port number. For example, 139 is NetBIOS port number, which has been used by various ransomware attack malwares, right? From outside when they are coming, exploiting those port number. So those port number, and we know that any legitimate service is not running on that port number. Those are not required to be open from outside to inside, right? So you can block those port number itself in the static list. Anybody access anything on this particular port number should be blocked. Understand? So any port number or any IP address or combination of both, you can write on the static rule. Understand? That is called as static policies. So when this is what you have to do. See, this is now you understood the whole firewall team work just in half an hour session. What firewall team does. When you join as a firewall team, member of firewall team, firewall is already implemented, already operationalized, right? Now, what firewall team does is, firewall team does to block any IP or port number or to block, to allow any traffic. Get what I mean? For example, generally, firewall team will be blocking most of the communication. It will be in blocking mode most of the time, right? So what happens, for example, so firewall team has to create static rules based on our business. First time when you implement firewall team, you have to create the static rules. You have certain servers, so which traffic has to be allowed, on which port number particular destination has to be allowed. They will write certain static rule initially. Okay? So once it is done, it is implemented, configured. Based on that, what traffic has to be allowed for outside, inside people to go outside, and what traffic has to be allowed, they will write static rules. And rest of the filtering will happen based on the dynamic entries. If any ID is suspicious, it will block the connection. Understand? Firewall is running now. Your network is secure. Yes or no? It's being monitored, being filtered by the firewall. Now, new applications are coming here. Yes or no? New servers are being deployed, new application, and those applications has to give the access to the outside people. Yes or no? Now, for example, now one new application, new ERP application has been developed. Yes or no? Now this application has been developed. They have to make them live. Application team has to make the application live, so that allow means outside people can access that application. They connected to the network, but application is still inaccessible by the outside people because the traffic by default is getting blocked on the firewall. Yes or no? So first of all, they have to make it live, they have to connect to the network. So they have to reach out to networking first of all to enable the networking, to create the route. After that, they have to ask firewall team to open the port. Yes or no? Then firewall team will create a static policy. Which port has to be open? Okay, our application is working on port number 80. Because it's a HTTP application, people should be able to access the port number on the 80. Yes or no? Then firewall will create the static rule firewall team. Give the static rule, okay, from any IP address to this particular IP address on port number 80, the connection should be allowed and action is allowed. You can also create on port from any IP on port number this pin, connection should be denied. Yes or no? But here we have to create the allow rule. Understand? Oh, that is the work of the firewall. Firewall team is usually getting such request only. Okay, new application, open the port number, they will raise the request to the firewall team. Firewall will create the static policy here to allow the port number from any IP address or whatever audience is there, right? So if you want to allow certain IP address only, you can create from this particular IP address and this destination IP address and port number 443. You can allow and rest deny. Get what I mean? Because the firewall has been on blacklisted mode, means apart from this rule, all other traffic should be denied. Get what I mean? That's the regular work of the firewall. That's the only work firewall team does. And other work is sometimes firewall have new OS came, you have to fix it. Sometimes new vulnerability came on the firewall, you have to patch those firewall vulnerabilities. Firewall may also have the vulnerability, right? using by exploiting those vulnerabilities, means weaknesses, attacker can gain the access, compromise the firewall itself, right? So those patching activity means fixing those activity vulnerabilities, updates, that also has to be configured or upgrade has to be done by the firewall. That's the only work of the firewall team. Many people might be working here in the firewall team. Yes or no? So yes,
who will be doing the dynamic ACL?
Vendor, you came to write directly vendor, you connect to the Cisco is doing the research and they are making the update. In antivirus you are getting, right? In antivirus you are getting the notification that your virus signature is out of date. In antivirus you have the option, whenever new signature available, download itself and install, or you get notification and download manually. You have two options. Yes or no? Similar option we can have in the firewall. Generally will enable to install the signature automatically. Why antivirus? Do you know? In antivirus, again a signature, right? If you have semantic antivirus, whenever any new malwares come, viruses come, they will create a signature and they will release it. Yes or no? Similarly, so manual activity is only when you have not enabled to download manually, automatically. Then only automatically will happen. You will get the notification and you have to download manually. If you do automatically in the firewall, it's recommended to install automatically. Yes or no? Otherwise, sometimes high severity signature will come and you may miss to install it. Yes or no? So what do you think that in your antivirus, why we should not enable all the time to install the signature real time automatically? Why we are sometimes selecting download manually? Only you should notify that new signature definition came and then you download manually. Why? What do you think that? Any idea? Any idea on your home antivirus that you have? Why antivirus is not all the times downloading update itself automatically and get it installed, right? So that it can protect more at the same time. Why it is giving option sometimes to select you to download it right now or later period? Why? What could be the reason?
Maybe you wanted to enter.
If you're on YouTube, you can comment your answer. Why it is giving the option? Yeah, go ahead. What are you telling?
So the new detection will get detected after that, like the signature behind that. So that new detections will be updated in that. So
your voice is not loud enough.
Actually, I was saying that detection will be updated in background, like the signatures which are newly updated and the new threats which are coming in the market. So for them, the new signatures will be updated behind that.
No. What I'm asking, why not automatically? Why it is asking sometime to download manually? Because you have option. If you enable the option to download automatically, it will give the prompt and all the time it will get downloaded automatically. Yes or no? But why it gives the option to download manually?
I will say why it allows you to download manually so that you get prepared on the effect on your device. Because when you update it, maybe some of the malware may be in your system. Then you get prepared on the changes it will occur in your devices or your system.
Okay. The right answer is why it is not giving it for antivirus, because whenever antivirus gives the signature, right, it's around 3. क्या हुआ? 1 मिनट. हाँ, एक तो मैंने एक्सप्लोर किया नहीं. हाँ, एक तो मैंने एक्सप्लोर किया नहीं ऑल द. हाँ, ये हियर I have not explored. It's all the option actually. I have to check that out. I'm just using it. So why it's giving option? Because sometimes the size can be 300 MB, 1 GB also signature size, right? might be you're doing some important activities, some application you're downloading, some upload is going on, right? So at the same time, if antivirus will download it, right, it may impact your actual work that you're doing right now, because it may download 1 GB and your speed may become slow. That is the reason some people disable the automatic installation, download and installation. Yes or no? In that case, you get the notification that your virus definition is out of date. To tackle with new virus and malwares, update your definition. Yes or no? Similarly, if you're not updating the ACL of the firewall, right, what will happen? New IP address will not be added, as well as old IP address, which now no more blacklisted, will still be there, and the new connection will still be blocked. Yes or no? That's the reason firewall signature also should be up to date. Understand?
So, yeah. So vendor will be having the access to our firewall and they push
Yes, sir.
this dynamic ACL.
When?
Vendor will be having our access to our
Yes.
firewall.
Access? No, not access. Does Symantec antivirus have the access of your antivirus? No. They only release. They only can push the update, right? They can only push the communication. They don't have access. Get I mean? They can only push the update. They don't have access to take the control or anything. Get I mean? So before those applications approved to go to the enterprise environment, all has been checked from security compliance perspective. It should not happen that vendors should be able to take the control of your bus, do something other activities, right? The only thing is one way, just to update this. Get I mean? So when you buy the license, that is what happens. See, so you have to, for example, you have bought this firewall for 1 year. After 1 year, you have to renew license. If you do not renew license, there are two things will happen. Two things. One is the technical support. The firewall will have a technical support for any issues you are facing. You can raise the case with the tech support team. That tech support will not be supporting you. It does not mean that 1 year, if license got expired, you can't use the firewall. You can still use the firewall, but support will be expiring. And second thing is, this update that you are getting will be stopped now. You will no longer will receive this new definition. Similarly, antivirus also, if antivirus license expire, still it will work, but based on the old signature. New signature will not be updating. Yes or no? Similarly, here new IP address will be added as a blacklisted IP address and will not be added, as well as your OS update, your vulnerabilities have been found. Those also update and upgrade will not be releasing. Understand? So you understand? So see, it is not happening not only for the inbound traffic, but also for outbound traffic also. Yes or no? So you can create the inbound and outbound also, and similarly ACL for it work for inbound and outbound both. Means anyone accessing any website which is suspicious IP address suspicious, or sending any email to anybody which is having suspicious IP, it will be blocked by the firewall based on the dynamic ACL or whatever you create a static role or static entry on the firewall, right? Sometimes SOC team also has to communicate with firewall team. For example, let's say because right, firewall is a device. It's not a security guard. It cannot use its own logic, its own common sense. If some connection is coming, if IP address is a part of ACL blacklisted, then only connection will be denied. Or if you have the static role, right? If firewall does not have any IP address, connection is coming, even the IP address suspicious blacklisted, some attack is happening. But since firewall does not have ACL entry, in that case, firewall will allow the traffic. You can't expect all the work like security guard, like using his own common sense. Firewall will only work based on the predefined information. It does not have its own common sense to check whether the connection is suspicious or not. Predefined information means signature. It only is ACL, right? It only filter out if IP address port number is malicious or you have the static rule here. Otherwise, it will allow the connection. That is why we are here, right? Sometime we'll see when you have all the security devices, still connection has been allowed. So because these devices are not aware, were not aware, it's a malicious, and this kind of attack we call as which attack? zero-day attack, when none of your security devices are having signature to detect particular connection as suspicious. This kind of attack is called a zero-day attack, right? In this kind of scenarios, we have a SOC team who is keeping an eye, right? So you come to know so they will, based on the correlation engine on the SIEM tool, based on certain condition which it will correlate, that I'll tell you in the later part. We'll going to create those conditions also to detect certain suspicious activities, right? So SIEM will trigger an alert saying that successful traffic from blacklisted IP. You came to know, and when you investigated, you came to know the IP address from which connection has been successful belongs to North Korea, and it is highly blacklisted IP address. I hope we don't have any people here from North Korea. So you came to know the particular IP belongs to North Korea, yes or no? And from various applications such as Cisco, Talos, Intelligence, IBM X-Force, MX Toolbox, IP-wide. There are many tools available on the internet. We'll do the practically here investigation. So you came to know the IP address is highly blacklisted and poor reputed for web and for emails, and still connection has been successful. Suspicious activity. When we investigated, you came to know this activity is happening in the last 24 hours. Because when you create certain rule on the SIEM, you will define in how many connections, within what time, then alert has to be fired. There are various conditions that you can write on the SIEM correlation rule to identify the specific trend is suspicious trend, suspicious activity. Based on that, it will trigger an alert. That alert you will monitor, you will investigate. Now you came to know that IP is highly suspicious and trying to connect one of the internal server, internal machine, it is suspicious, right? Now you have to block it. Yes or no? Because firewall has also allowed it. In that case, you have to block to stop this activity, or in future that activity should not happen. So how will you do that? Firewall is a network layer 3 and 4 device, means IP address we can block on the firewall. Yes or no? So what will you do in that case? Being a SOC team, you may have to raise the case with the firewall team and tell them, team, from this particular IP address, we are saying high number of connections. In last 24 hours, when we investigated further, we found there are more than 1,000 connections which is successful and trying to connect one of the server, which is this IP address. Kindly block it on all the firewalls, perimeter firewall, including all the firewalls. You may have some internal firewall also. So kindly block the connection on all the firewalls. You download all those logs for the evidence, right? As well as you also attach the screenshot of the application where you have checked this IP is blacklisted and poor reported. You add those screenshots and ask them to block it. So we are, in this case, we are straightforward, we are asking firewall to block it because the IP is highly blacklisted, and second thing, it belongs to North Korea. You understand? It's one of the blacklisting IP address, blacklisting company, suspicious country, as well as we don't have business also. So you have to keep in mind that time also, whenever you are taking such action, you have to check the IP belongs to which country, which company, and whether do we have our company for which we are working, whether do we have business in that country. Because sometimes you can't straightforward take the decision to block the IP, because sometimes even those research companies can give the false positive data saying that it's blacklisted, but IP belongs to one of your vendor. One moment, hold on. The IP belongs to one of your vendor. Yes or no? So first of all, the basic information is, for example, my company belongs to Saudi Arabia and we have business in Saudi Arabia, USA and India. So if any IP belongs to this country, even it is suspicious, I should not go ahead and block it immediately without further investigation. In that case, I can ask my various department stakeholder, the team, we are saying high number of connections, particular IP address, and that IP address is highly suspicious, blacklisted. Please check it out whether this IP address belongs to any of a client or vendor. If not, we'll ask firewall team to go ahead and block it. If this is stakeholder, application development team, or any operations team, business team saying, hey, this belongs to one of the vendor. Yes or no? If they confirms, then we will whitelist that IP on our SIEM tool so that it will not fire an alert next time. If teams are saying that no, it is not belongs to, no, it is not belongs to, then we'll further route that case to the firewall team and we'll ask them to block it. Yes or no? If that IP belongs to business location. If that IP do not belongs to business location, then immediately we'll ask firewall team to block that IP in the firewall, marking business team on the CC to keep them informed. Why? Because keep them informed. There might be sometimes when, even though we have business in 3 locations, 3 countries, sometimes we have some new clients, some new customers in other countries also. So we can keep them informed so that anytime the restrict filter is saying that we are not able to access, they can check on the email, okay, this has been blocked, and they can come back to the firewall team to unblock it, to raise the case to unblock it. Yes or no? So in that case, if you report, that time also firewall team will block it. Yes or no? Understand? And
So
yes.
how do we check that which IP belongs to which location?
There are application open source. There are many various apps such as Cisco Talos Intelligence. These some of the app that you use to find out the reputation of IP as well as whether IP is blacklisted or not. Some of the apps such as, let me write, and also IP detail also, in-depth detail you can get. Let me tell you the name of the tools. You guys explore this tool, okay? Any IP address, for example, you check it out what is the IP address of Facebook.com and check the reputation. Right? Do this practice. I'll tell you in the real time in the next later period once we discuss about the same investigation part. We'll do it all investigation in real time. What incident, what investigation we have to do, and which team we have to report. We'll do it real time. Ticket also will create on the email. Also will investigate and create the case and assign to the respective team practically. Okay, but just understanding perspective, I'm giving this knowledge to check the reputation of IP and or domain of IP as well as domain also. Whether SIEM XPERT domain you got an email, whether it is blacklisted or not, or you're accessing SIEM XPERT, whether website is phishing website, malware website or not. That also you can check on those websites. Those some of the, there are many websites, but some of the good websites are, if you type in Google, you'll get it. Maybe I'm making mistake on writing the spellings, but you can type in Google Cisco Talos Intelligence. So website name is talosintelligence.net, I think, .org, I think, but you can search in Google Cisco Talos Intelligence. Okay, Cisco Talos Intelligence. This is one of the highly authentic website. Give most of the right information. Okay, Cisco Talos Intelligence. Then you can refer MX Toolbox. There are many websites, but some of the good website name I am writing is here. MX Toolbox. Then you may have Virus Total.
I think, sir, Ultra Tools also.
Virus Total. Yes, we have many, but some of the most used and most authentic tool I'm writing here. You have Virus Total.
IP Void. IP Void.
IP Void is also good. IP Void. Then you have IBM X-Force.
IBM.
Yeah, IBM X-Force you have. It's also very good. IBM X-Force. X-Force spelling क्या है? X-Force ऐसे ही है मेरे साथ. X-Force. X-Force, right? X-Force. These are some of the good websites. These are some of the good websites where you can check the reputation of IP and domain, whether it is blacklisted or poor reputed. They are having tie-up with multiple research companies, more than 30-40 research companies, right? So whenever you type the data, right, they will send the request, they will scan to multiple blacklists with multiple companies like Spam House or multiple different research companies are there. So they have their own database based on research. Once you type this, they will send the scan to all the database and check it out. Okay, this particular IP address is blacklisted on the Spam House, on this Alien Vault, checkpoint data also will be blacklisted. So how many blacklisting companies, the company are saying that this IP is blacklisted? Based on that, we conclude, Okay, only one blacklist company is showing a blacklisted, other all 30, 40 is not showing blacklisted. We check other tool also. It's not something that based on one tool only will decide whether blacklisted or not. We check multiple to verify. You check on this one, so check on this one. If all the company is saying blacklisted, means it's blacklisted. If only one is saying blacklisted, other saying clean, 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 and user is also saying that even though the IP belongs to North Korea and stakeholder is saying it's not, it's our vendor IP, right? Then we'll whitelist. If all the companies are showing it, saying us blacklisted, then we have to block that IP address. But I mean, that is how we decide. So we check it out, and when we are blocking this IP address, asking forward to block it IP address, we stick the screenshot that these vendors are saying is blacklisted as an evidence. Yes, no, to say that whatever we are saying it's correct, only the IP address is highly blacklisted and poor reputed.
Sir, can I ask a question regarding ACL?
One moment, just hold on 1 moment. So in that case, so this is once you accept this website and type the IP address, every company will give the location data most of the time. Location belong to USA and this city, right? This information mostly you see. If you want to explore other information, which country, which city, and which company, as well as who is the owner, registered owner of the website, what is the email ID, what is the phone number. Because whenever you buy any IP address, right, or take from ISP dynamic IP address, your information is being registered. Yes or no? So on the register inventory, you can check that IP belongs to whom. Sometime, for example, you are saying some attack is happening, some DDoS attack happened on your company, and you see your Ericsson, some IP are involved, and you see one of the IP is Ericsson IP address. DDoS is happening from Ericsson. So do you think that Ericsson is the company who will launch the DDoS in your company? No, right? Even Ericsson would like to launch also, they will not launch from their own system. They will buy a DDoS service from dark web. Yes or no? And they will ask attacker to launch it. If you are saying attack happened from Ericsson legitimate company, Ericsson will not launch. It means that Ericsson systems have been compromised, and attackers have created a botnet and relaunched the attack from their system. Get what I mean? So once you see the company belongs to a company Ericsson, then you can deep dive and check out the email ID to report, email ID, phone number, and you can report Ericsson that we are seeing this kind of attack from your IP address. Maybe some system has been infected. You can report them to help them. Because you know, right, even attack happen, we are not going to file FIR. We are not going to go to police. In case major loss is not happening. In case major loss happen, big data breach happen, it's important as per the compliance to reveal to the government. It revealed to the police, cybercrime, as well as the government. Government should be informed because it's not your own data. It's public data. Yes or no? It's government data. It's country's data. It's very important to reveal to the government. That is the reason when compromise happen, otherwise we will never come to know. Hiding the compromise is a crime. Yes or no? Because it's not only your loss, it's a country loss, whole country loss.
In that case, IANA don't have anything to take because they are the one who provide the IP address.
Only
right?
allocation of IP address. Only allocation.
But they take IANA do take money for IP address also, right?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
So if in case so many companies are blacklisting and the money is compromised in that, IANA cannot block any IP address.
No. IANA has already given us ISP, right? Because see, IP means not all attackers are all the time. Not attackers are using their own IP address, right? They're using compromised computers most of the time, right? That is very difficult. IANA is just to allocate the IP address to ISPs. Now ISPs can distribute to anyone. There is no control on that, but they will have details as per the IANA process. Whenever you assign IP address to any of the customer, any of the company, you have to have all the their detail, right? So if you want to deep dive the IP detail, there is one good website called whoisdomaintoolbox.com. Who is domain tool? Who is domain? Who is domain? Who is domain toolbox.com, tool.com. I always Google it actually. Tools.com, I think. Just search in Google. Okay, who is domain toolbox? You'll get the website name. Okay, because I always do the Google only. I don't write exact website. So who is domain toolbox? Here you can get all the details. Okay, now you can ask the question. What is the question you have from ACL perspective?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead now.
Yeah. Sir, actually, we can also create a ACL on router, and we can also block a URL on router.
Because nowadays a router also coming as L4 routers. L4, right? Means can do the routing also and security also. Get in mind? But it is not recommended to always block it on the router. For high severity incident or something, you can block it, right? Otherwise, there will be so many entry, and many entry means many filtering, more resources of the router. That's the reason when you send the request to block it, we do not block on the router. Instead, we block it on the firewall. Get in mind? A router also has a security feature, but it is not recommended to use on the enterprise.
Yeah, right, sir. Right. I think, sir, I cannot use IAM basis, but I have some idea regarding that. That's why I have asked this question.
You asked a valid question. I'm not denying a question. Get it? I'm not denying you asked the valid question. That router also nowadays L4 router, digital router, which works on layer 3 only, and which can understand the port number only. That means if they understand port number and IP address, we can now it coming with security policies also, filtering also. We can filter out the traffic on the router itself. Some of them companies, small companies, they may not go with the firewall. They may have router only and some kind of filtering, because of course router main work is routing, right? Not security. So they have some basic feature of filtering. Not all the feature which firewall is having.
Yeah, right, sir. Right.
Get I mean? So some kind of companies can use router only without firewall.
Yeah.
Yes, sir? Or the company only can buy a firewall without router. So anything vice versa. Understand? But this is the enterprise environment. We have the router also, separate firewall, and blocking we have done on. For high severity incident, high severity case, you may ask, okay, multi-layer blocking will do. A block it on the router also as well as firewall also. Multiple entries are not recommended to on the router, because router work is do the routing, not the filtering, as per the enterprise architecture. Got it?
Yes, sir. So can we use the firewall without router in a network?
We can use, as I already mentioned, firewall work on the layer 3 and layer 4, means can do the routing also and filtering also. For a small company, you can do it. For enterprise, is not recommended. In my company also, I'm doing it. Yes or no? Just directly plugging on the firewall, not on the router. Understand? Just hold on a minute. I'm just coming. Hold on. I have given almost 1 hour 45 minutes till now on the only topic firewall. Why? By understanding the importance of this device. Because any traffic, any connection coming in and going out will have certain more device also, but those connections may not go through those devices, but definitely will go through the firewall. Any traffic will coming in and going out, definitely go through the firewall. Means firewall will have the evidence who has came in, who has gone out. The majority of the incidents you will see based on the firewall logs you will analyze. Get it? It's very important to have the good understanding of the work of the firewall. Then only you will analyze the firewall log of Cisco firewall. Okay, this is source IP, this is destination IP. You understand what information firewall record now? Source
Yes,
IP,
sir.
IP, source port, destination port, action, protocol. You will understand. Byte in, byte out means how many data has came, what was the size of packet, and how much data has been gone out. Right? You know what happens? As soon as connection has came, if connection has been established, once the data transfer will happen, means connection will get completed. That time firewall record the event, generate the event, right? Then you can see how much data came in, how much gone out. The one field called as byte in, byte out. The data will be recorded in the stream of byte. So how much is the incoming packet size, data size, and how much is the outgoing packet data size? So by referring to the firewall logs, you can understand what communication happens, right? Majority of the incident you will see based on the firewall log. That's the reason 1 hour 45 minutes I have given for the fire. You are not going to directly work on the firewall, but you are going to analyze the firewall logs. Majority of the time, very important. All the security device that I am going to talk about, you are going to get the logs, and based on that, you are going to investigate the incident, investigating the suspicious activities. Okay.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so firewalls based on filtering the traffic.
Yes.
So there's a Kali Linux command. You can use the nmap, and you can bypass the traffic. So at that point, how the firewall is blocking?
How
nmap
you can bypass the traffic? See, you have attended CS training.
It's not possible.
Yes.
Hey, it is not possible. Perfect network. CS training that you are there showing, right? All Wi-Fi and compromising all are vulnerable, right? You are if you're thinking that I have done the CS, I can penetrate any network, or I can compromise Wi-Fi. It is not possible. That is just dummy devices which are having vulnerabilities, old devices which are already having vulnerabilities, right? Anything you cannot possible, if it is not possible, it is blocked by the firewall. It is not possible to bypass the traffic. If you have firewall and firewall has the port number 445 blocked, you can't bypass until unless you are able to compromise the firewall. If firewall is not compromised, you can't bypass.
So is the firewall is running any service operating system? They have it?
Means I'm not getting you. I'm not getting
so
you.
Right now, if you want to compromise the firewall, so if you want to compromise, there is any, what service they are running in the firewall? How like if you want to compromise the website, you have to know which port and which service they are running from. There you can compromise the network. How do you compromise the firewall?
I'm not talking about how compromise the firewall is very difficult. You have to find out what are the vulnerabilities, right? For example, how firewall take the update from the cloud, right? Maybe might find out some way, because firewall is going out to take the update. Maybe you can trap that. I had never researched how to compromise a firewall because I was not a part of that, and as well as it's very, very difficult to compromise it, right? Until unless it does not have any kind of vulnerabilities.
Sir, sir, what does it mean by in stateful and stateless inspection?
So what is the homework for you? This is the homework for you, right? What are the different type of firewall? The document that I have shared with you, that is also written. I have explained you the standard firewall work. Every firewall will work like this, but may have some different features also, right? So the homework for you, what are the different type of firewalls?
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, suppose the connection has been held and we found it vulnerable after some time. Can we stop it?
Sorry, come back.
Sir, once a connection is set up and we found that it is vulnerable.
That is what I told you. Sometimes firewall has allowed the connection. You came to know IP address, suspicious IP address. Then you can block in the dynamic list. Yes or no? Just block it. It will block. That's how you are blocking sometimes. I just give an example, right? You raise a case with firewall team saying that high number of connections you have seen successful connection. Then ask them to block it on the firewall. They will block it.
Okay.
And block will happen by static list because you have option. You can submit to the firewall team also. There is a filter. This team is a highly suspicious IP, but it's allowed on the firewall. Then based on the request, they will do the research and they will block it. But it may be too late. Get it, mind? So you have the option to block it yourself on the static list. No. If any communication is happening, then only you will find suspicious, right? Then you will block it. If you see any communication is happening, then only you will block it. Otherwise, you are not going to block a huge number of IPs. Billions of IP, you can't say that, right? Whenever any communication you found that based on a policy, even some traffic has been penetrated, but you see it's a malicious IP address, that time you have to block it. Get it, mind? So let me introduce one more layer of device, one more layer of security controls. You understand now? Yes.
Do SOC analysts have access to firewall management interface?
Management interface ideally will not have. If you are the part of service-based company, if you are working in the SOC, majority of time you'll have access to the SIEM, right? Next generation SOC, if you have some other tool like XDR, EDR, or so, right, you may have access to those. You're the part of cybersecurity team, not the part of network security. So firewall will have a separate team in the company. But there might be possible that your company is small, or you're the part of product-based company where you don't have different team for all the tools. That time you may have, but rare chances, because firewall require a dedicated team to manage firewall. However, may be possible that firewall team has only 2 people to work, right? Many times you're reporting incident to block it. The firewall team should take your action to block it, or they should work on another team to open the port, close, or do it, right? Sometimes they might be overloaded. So some level of access they can give on the firewall. For example, when you reported particular IP address suspicious, your stakeholder also said that it's suspicious, it's not belongs to any of the vendor, then some access like sun command. In a firewall, if you want to shut down like some Cisco firewall, if you want to particular block this IP, you can just run this sun command. Sun, then IP address, right? So that level of access they can give, so that every time you don't have to bother to them. You can directly block yourself. But it depends. Sometimes people make a mistake. I'll give the scenario in the later period. One of the company I used to work. चलो भाई बता ही देता हूँ ये. वैसे 5 minutes ही बचेंगे, है ना? So what happens is, let me give an example, real-time example. It was my first company when I used to work. It's been a long time when I used to work as security analyst. So we used to investigate whenever incident trigger, or we used to do log analysis also. Manually also we analyze the logs, right? I found that one of the IP address belongs to one of the suspicious country. I will not name it here. So belongs to that, and I see it is so there are 4 or 5 IPs. There are 4 or 5 IPs. I see the huge connections, number of connections coming from the same country, 4 or 5 IPs, and targeting to one of the server, one of the web server hosted somewhere here in our internal network, company network, but it's one of the web server. We see high number of connections from that country, or highly blacklisted IP address, and high number of connections. So I have to block those IP now. So what I have to do is I have created a notepad. I have created a notepad on which I have mentioned the IP address, because I have to raise the incident also. And I thought, let me block it, then I'll send a notification, because no need to raise a firewall team now. Just we keep them informed that we have blocked those IP address, right? But we do not ask them to block, because they are busy, too busy. They were too busy. So I have just created a notepad and mention, okay, this IP address from which connection has came, and this is the IP address, public IP address of our server, where they are trying to get connected, right? So now I have to block those IP address. I was in afternoon shift, 9 to 11 shift. 2 to 10 shift, 2 to 10 shift. Now it was around 9:30. So whenever shift gets over, you know, it SOC work 24/7, all the shift, but rotational shift, because security attackers do not wait. Okay, other attacker will wait. For example, night shift, night time, you're not working, let me attack. Attacker do not wait for you. Yes or no? And you can't wait for attacker. So you have to ensure monitoring 24/7. For girls, most of the companies are not giving night shift. If they are night shift also, they will work from home most of the time. Okay. Boys, initial level, you may have to do the 24/7. Initial level, once you become admin or L2, L3, might be ending on the escalation that you might not have to work. It depends on the luck also. So I was working on afternoon shift 2 to 10. It was 9:30. I have to give to 9 when shift gets over, right? We have to give the shift handover. We create shift handover. I'll discuss in a later period how many incident has been triggered, how many cases we have created, what are the high severity incident which have been triggered, what action we have taken, or any thing which is open right now, we can give the handover so that they can take it up, right? So every shift means in a day 3 times you have to give the handover. Afternoon shift have to give the handover to night shift. What happened in afternoon shift? So every team, so sometimes SOC may be distributed for DC/DR like that. For example, we had one SOC in Bangalore and we have one SOC team in Mumbai. You may have in different location because maybe in disaster situation, some strike happened in Bangalore, cabs are not working. Yes or no? In that case, monitoring will get a SOC. For DR perspective, SOC may be distributed most of the time, multiple location. So all the location guy has to connect to the call for shift handover. So all are working together only. Yes or no? So 9:30 it happened. Handover call was going on. So somebody, we have to nominate, okay, you create shift handover today and give the update. Yes or no? It's a kind of burden for someone who creates shift handover because they have to give the Excel sheet and all documentation and they have to explain to everyone. So everybody will try to do that. Okay, you give the today, you give the today. Yes or no? So I was working one of the incident. So one of my team member was giving the handover, excluding this case because this case was already working. So I thought I'll give the update. So he was explaining, I have to join the call. I was on the call also, and I was investigating this incident also, right? I was on the call, listening that call, and at the same time, because it was little delay. So what happens is, now finally, I have to block that IP address on the firewall, right? We have the firewall. So what I have done is, I have blocked this IP. Along with that, what I have done? What I have done? Along with external IP, I have blocked this particular web server IP address. So I run the SUN command. Get away by mistakenly, because I was working on update call also, right? Dual work, right? I did not realize that this is because this is also a public IP only, external accessible server, public IP. I did not realize because I have mentioned the same notepad and resulting SUN command I have run for this IP also. I sent a notification to everyone, and after 10 o'clock, I went to my home after blocking all those IP. By 2:30, I see I got a call. Just when I try to miss, I missed that call, and I see I had 10 call missed. I was sleeping that time. I see 10 call missed. The call missed from firewall teams, 4 to 5 calls, 3 to 4 calls from my manager, and 2 to 3 calls from my team. All call missed. 2:30. I got shocked. What could they? I realized that I may have blocked this IP address because I was not in full attention when I blocked it. Right? I may write maybe that's why firewall team is calling because firewall work I have done. I realized I picked up the call. Firewall team, SULABH, you have blocked any IP in the firewall? I said yes. But said you have blocked this web application firewall, web application server IP address. After that, they investigated, right? When I did not pick the call, you know what happens? Let me give the background information. When I left, right, from that time only, that particular server has become inaccessible. This is one of the famous company from US, and one of the real estate website. It was real estate or business also. Yeah, famous real estate company website, and that website was down for 3 hours. Big business impact. And they called and they already investigated. They called, you have blocked the firewall team. Manager also, I talked, come in the morning office. Come office in the morning. That case has been escalated because it was a severity 1 incident. High severity incident means big business impact. director and everything. We had a meeting. I said that is what happened. I was in the call. I was in it. By mistakenly, I have blocked that IP. They considered this as a human error. It's not intentionally or it's not something. Anybody can make this mistake. It's a human error. They did not tell anything why you have done in this work today, or they have not given any warning. But they said that next time be careful. You will not believe that after 20 days, what happened? Not me this time.
You did the same.
Not me this time. Other person, other of my teammate, his name was Pradeep. He also did
I have
the
a
same
question
video,
for you.
This was not the server this time. Some other web server he has blocked. Same incident happened that time also.
Yeah, I have one question for you, sir. Okay, so
that is the reason.
if
One minute, just a moment. That is the reason you are expert in some tool, right? You should have access to that tool. That's the reason you do not have access to multiple tools on which you are not expert. Yes or no? Or you get the level of access based on your role. Some people are crying, my manager is not giving me admin access. I have already monitoring level of access. I don't have access to see how tool works, because this is not your manager who is not giving you work to explore. This is the compliance also. This is a government also who create the policies that not everyone in the team should have admin access. If you have 20 people, mostly 1, 2, or 3 people should have admin access, full access, not all people, because multiple hands, mass. Yes or no? And it's a critical data, not of your company, but a public data. That is the reason, do not cry that your company or your manager is not giving access. It's a compulsion. Otherwise, you become mass, you do certain changes, and which will impact the production. Now you can ask.
Okay, so as far as you say, is the real estate company, you compromised their server.
No, not compromise. Not compromise. I said I have blocked the IP address of server.
I understand, but if these incidents happen, it compromised the server and affected a lot of computers at the same time, what you will be doing at this time?
See, that is the different thing. Now, compromise means you have to ask them specifically what kind of compromise it is, because different investigation, different cases, different action. Get it? Directly,
for example, viruses.
Nobody can take the access of it directly, because see, most of the viruses is also very difficult here. In server, viruses are difficult. That is the reason. See, if you see my watch by video, what is malware and type of malware, and what action will take if any machine gets compromised. See, any malware most of the time comes through 3 mediums. Either USB drive, you plug on system USB drive, and USB drive has a malware, it got infected. Second, through web, means you access a website, it was the phishing website, from here you end up downloading malware. Third is with emails. In server, in critical server, we block all 3. Internet access means internet access only to the specific port, only to server. Means in server we can't open Outlook, we cannot access mails. You can't access any other website on the server, it is not allowed. It is blocked already. Only website which is required for application perspective, authentic website, only you can access. You can't access Gmail, you can't access Outlook. You can't download anything from the internet. One thing. So how the malware will come? That is the reason most of the time compromise, this kind of malware come on your desktop, laptop, not on the server. Because if any machine got compromised, the only option for right away to stop it, to isolate the machine from the network. But you can't isolate servers. Yes or no? In this case, if you have multiple servers, for example, that is the reason any critical website, when you have multiple backup servers. You will not happen that, okay, SIEM XPERT website is one server only, it get compromised, I have to make it down. But when you have in the critical application hosted, they will have in multiple servers. You know, if this machine got compromised, you can take this server down, you have other server to serve the request. Get in mind? But taking this down is highly critical. That is the reason internet, USB, all is being blocked on the server. On desktop laptop is your own. Maybe you'll get infection many times. Isolate. You have to isolate machine network, do the investigation, do the proper research. I'll tell you in this class, I'm going to cover how to investigate any malware, how to investigate ransomware, what is the full-fledged investigation and incident response, right? Because once computer compromise, you have to isolate, then you have to identify the source of infection, source of compromise, how the malware came in a network, from where you have downloaded through web or through email. Then there's a device called email gateway. I'll introduce in tomorrow class. From which email ID user has received it or which website user had downloaded it, you have to find out the source. Then you have to run the report. Same email ID, for example, you found out the email from which email malware has came. User has opened it, right? Then you search on the report. Now you understand each and every activities are being recorded in the form of logs. Now you have to search the logs from that particular email ID, which all user has received the email, or from maybe now same malware from different email ID. Then search based on subject line, based on the attachment name. Yes or no? So multiple factor you search to identify which all user have received it. Maybe this user have received it and open it. System got covered, you came to know. Maybe other user also open it. You did not come to know. So you have to search on the logs, different logs, who all user have opened it, communication is happening, or who all user had not opened it. If any user have opened it, you have to isolate their machine or to take the action format or something. So you can ask them, ask them whether they have opened it or not. If any user has not opened it, you can ask them to delete that email. Before they open and machine get compromised, you can reach out to them if you have all the user who received that email. Right? So this kind of whole response investigation, sometimes users are not reachable, they're not available on the phone. You have to ask IAM team to block their network account so that they will not be able to log in. Yes or no? If they will not be able to open, they will call help desk. The help desk will check, we have disabled your network ID because you have got a email which having malware. So now this particular email you have received in this particular time, kindly open and delete that email. Yes or no? Understand? So it's a further investigation. Yes. It's a big investigation. Then if any high severity incident come, then you have to create a full report that is called a root cause analysis. Yes or no? How you identify particular attack? What was your observation, right? And what was the impact? And what action you have taken for remediation? Whenever you have such kind of high severity incident, when you have bigger impact, that is called severity 1 or severity 2 incident. In that case, you have to create a full report, send to the management, send to the client.
So as you said that, if your first server is compromised, your backup service is going to take over.
Right.
So your first server is already compromised.
Right.
How you allowed your backup server to run?
Correct. So what?
Why you allowed that? Because your first server is compromised. And why you allowed the backup server?
First server
because it could be.
See, malware reached and done something on the first server, right? I want to stop that infection. I have to stop this right away. I have to take the server down to stop the attacking activities. Once I take this down, I'll identify what is source IP source port number or what is the attacker IP port number. Right away, I have to ask firewall team to block it on the firewall to stop that.
Got you.
To stop this. Then I may investigate further by taking it down. I may investigate further. What was the root cause? Why I can't stop my business? Yes or no?
Yes.
Otherwise, if I take the running server down, I don't have any backup server, my business will get compromised, my user will not be accessible. So do you think that Amazon is down or Flipkart is down anytime? Yes or no? PayPal is down because they have multiple servers. In case there are any issues also, they take it down. But they will have other servers to serve the request. You mind?
Yes.
So once you ask them to block it on firewall as well as on other security device to stop that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So next time, next class means Monday, we are going to talk about another security device that is called a WAF. One moment. We'll understand that. We understand a scenario on what cases firewall fail to detect and resulting some successful compromise will happen. In that case, we'll have to introduce one. What is this? Akshay, why you're not blocking your mic? Okay, guys. So we'll wind up the day. We'll connect on
Monday.
Monday. If
Monday.
you have 5 minutes to ask.
Please, sir. Question.
You can raise your hand. I'll give 5 minutes to ask.
Okay. Please,
So thank you.
explain. Thank you very much for the extension. Please explain more on DMZ, demilitarized firewalls. Like
Okay.
when you talk about having multiple servers, there
Okay.
is best option to include DMX in those servers.
I did not get your question fully. You have mentioned something with regard to DNS.
Yes, DMX, demilitarized firewall.
So what do you want to ask in DNS?
Okay, you were mentioning having multiple, when you have multiple server, you
Record.
used to, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but it's not very clear.
Yes, okay, I'm asking if we can use DMX in those critical servers. My network.
Hello, sir. I have question. Hello.
She's not. She is in mute. I think. You can continue now. I could not get your question. Maybe you can ping on the chat.
Sir,
Sir,
what is the
ma'am
meaning?
is asking what is
the meaning?
DMZ? How do you?
No, not DMG. She is asking DMZ, demilitarization zone.
That I'm going to talk about next class.
Demilitarized zone. How do you implement firewall? She's asking.
Different zone we can have the network, right? So we'll talk about where we deploy what applications.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Zone, PII zone, DMZ zone, right? Why it is demilitarized we call as, which all server we host on a DMZ. Very important.
Okay, sir. Okay. Actually, we are using this.
Thank you.
RK, go ahead. One moment, raise your hand because RK has raised their hand first. The name you
Yeah,
can
hi.
ask. Yes, go ahead.
Hi. My question is in the firewall ACLs, the static ACLs. So to block an IP address, you give a specific IP address or you give the range?
No. You have both options. You can define if you want to block any specific IP address, you can give the IP address. If you want to block the full range subnet of IP address, that also you can define. Both options you have.
Okay, thanks.
Next, Janakiram.
Yes, sir. My question is like, INA provide the IP addresses to the ISPs. First of all, if we connect the now to internet, we have to some IP address. After some time, another IP address. So in the meanwhile time, we did some malicious activity.
Correct.
After some time, that IP address will goes to some other person.
Correct.
If I did some malicious activity, after some time, he is a I'm saying he is a legitimate user. That person, he wants to use the one of the site. I did some malicious activity with that IP. That person, he is a legitimate user. If he want to use the legitimate site, then already this IP address block. Then how he has.
See what happens in most of the times. Any IP is in blacklisted, right? Dynamic IP address. Generally, most of the web application companies allow traffic on port number 8403 because there is no much harm directly. If, for example, you access website, you access packet 2-3 times 3 make connection. If you try to make multiple connections, in that case only firewall will block the connection. Application will block the connection, right? Even though your IP is malicious, right? Your accessing website, 2 connections will be initiated, right? Port number 80 and 443, majority of the company allow the traffic, even the IP address is blacklisted. Get I mean? Because they cannot do anything else apart from accessing the website. If anything else will do, there will be multiple connections, and they have web application firewall that I'll talk about on tomorrow. Get I mean? If you do any malicious activity on port number 40 or 80 or 443, you may have one more security control that is called WAF, which have the packet level of visibility. You are attacking on port number 443. What is the packet? What kind of attack you are doing? What command you want to run? That is have the visibility on WAF. That is the reason even if your IT blacklisted on port number 43 or 80, most of the company allow those because you internet users, web users, get dynamic IP address. For example, my static IP address that I have here. Get mind? When any person, see, I'm able to access the internet, right? But any person access my VPN, if they're kind of the ACT internet, they're not able to access my VPN because the ACT internet firewall has blocked my IP as a blacklisted IP. And when see my IP on Google on tools, one company says that the IP is blacklisted, and that is the reason their firewall is also blocking. Now, what I can do is I can ask ACT, submit the request to the ACT to unblock my IP address by giving all the proofs. Get a point? So that is how it happens. But generally, internet means website 403.80 will be accessible even though IP is blacklisted because they have some more layer of security control to monitor application level of traffic. Okay, got it? Next is Saroj.
Sir, what is this 0-day attacks you have told?
0-day attack is an attack when none of your security devices knows that it is a suspicious IP or suspicious connection, right? And resulting, they will allow it. So that attack is called a 0-day attack. The 0-day attack is the attack which none of your security devices are having signature to detect it. That is
but
called
sir, most of the attacks happens only like that only, right? 0 attacks.
Of course, most of the attacks are 0-day. Correct. That is the reason we have SIEM team, SOC team to monitor those 0-day attacks. Otherwise, if not 0-day, then it's not happening that most of the attacks are on 0-day. They are not 0-day. If you research the firewall logs, you will see many of the connections have been blocked by the firewall. And when you see those source IP high blacklisted, when you have the firewall and firewall had the signature, that is the reason those attacks have been blocked. But you do not see all the logs because that is already denied. You only care about when it is successful. That's the reason you are saying that many of the attacks happen on 0-day only. Compromise happen on 0-day, but attacker already tried and they block it. Firewall has blocked it, and you are not bothered about what has been blocked. Get I mean? We only came to know, we only bother when it's successful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Lower hand. Next is again your name is big. C.ITP IFE Nyava. You raise your hand. Go ahead.
Ifeanyi. Good morning.
From
Nigeria.
Your name is
Okay.
very big.
Ifeanyi. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Please, I want to ask this: how can one check if their system or IP address is being used as a botnet? Then, if it's yes, how can they secure it or remove it, as in remediate it? And how can one avoid being used as a zombies? Thank you. You get my question.
You said one of your system is the part of botnet, right?
How can one identify maybe one of the system is being used as a botnet? Then how can one?
How can I find? You are saying. How can I find one of my system is using for a botnet?
One identify or check. How can you check if the system is used as a botnet?
Okay. You are saying in your company, if any of your user system is part of botnet, means attacker has compromised that system and using as a bot, right? Then how you can identify, right? Bot is a short form of robot. Bot is a short form of robot. Robot means bot. Robot means automatically, without human activity, automatically the activity happening, right? So whenever any of the system gets compromised, let's say malware has been installed. If malware is a type of Trojan, it's a Trojan malware, and then Trojan once installed, it can create the backdoor. Backdoor means once it is installed, it will give the access control to the attacker command and control server. Now attacker has control. This particular machine got infected, and now attacker can control is means attacker can do any activity. You log in your system, you are not doing, but some activity is happening in your system. Means robotic activity happening, means the system is infected, means it has a bot. Bot means robot. You are not doing activities, automatically happening, means bot activities are happening. Now saying that the system got compromised and working as a bot, how will you identify? So what happens is, if your system got compromised, similarly, attacker has compromised some other system. or once your system got compromised, attacker may try to compromise other system with some other attack called as brute force. I'll give the deep dive in the later period. What is brute force, right? So the sort of compromised computer, the network of compromised computer is called a botnet. Botnet means bot network. Yes or no? The group of compromised computer, network of compromised computer, what a botnet. So many of the attacks, attacker like DDoS, one of the attackers like DDoS, attacker initiate using the botnet. Means multiple computer, means so means those computers are not attacker computer, right? It's your computers. Network of those computers called a botnet. So now attacker may deploy certain more tool once attacker control it and can initiate the attacks some other companies. So to identify whether your computer have bot, any of those computers you have bot, you can monitor it in multiple ways. If you see as a user, if you log in the system, if you see suddenly your system started hanging, started working slow. You have not installed any new software, you're not doing any other different activity today, but you see your system is become very slow. It is getting hang. May possible once you sit in task manager and you can see what is memory and CPU utilization, you will see it suddenly there is a hike on utilization. What happened? What changed? You did not do anything. Maybe system got compromised. Attacker is doing some activity, maybe launching attack somewhere or doing the crypto mining or any kind of attack, any kind of activity is doing, resulting those applications are resource intensive and resulting high CPU and memory utilization. So whenever you see high CPU and memory utilization system, you can say system got infected. It can have bot also, maybe bot has been installed and now attacker is attacking some other machines. Yes or no? It can be a sign of malware or any kind of like a bot or any kind of malware. Now, being a security administrator or security analyst, how will you come to know? If you see any malicious trend, any different trend, because once if attacker now create a bot, right? Now attacker will use this bot, compromised computer, to attack some other companies. Yes or no? So now in that case, some traffic will generate and go outside. Yes or no? So now in multiple, now you can see if any computer communicating to outside in any of the malicious port number or not well-known port number, you can create a rule for that. Certain malware has certain fixed port numbers. You can check. You can have on the same very well-known malware port number, very well-known port, this Tor port numbers, Tor nodes. You can have in the same. And check if traffics are going on those port number from inside to outside. You can get an alert. That is one way you can identify. If you see the higher trend, means from one of the source system, there are high number of traffic going outside 500, 600 per second, per minute. It's an unusual trend. You can create certain rule for that. Get an alert, get an alert. You see from particular system, connection going outside but blocking by the firewall, high number of deny connection originated. It's sign of machine got compromised. There might be a bot installed trying to connect to the attack command center server or trying to attack some other company and that IP address is blacklisted. Resulting, you see that particular firewall. So you will understand more once we come on the part of SIEM. We'll understand various such scenarios. Understand? Okay, so
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So we'll wind up today.
I have small doubt.
Small doubt, you go ahead.
Hello. Sir, actually, I heard some firewall types, packet filtering firewall, circuit level, proxy firewall, etc. These all firewalls doing same operation what you told, right?
No. See, like for example, a proxy also mentioned as somewhere as a firewall, right? Proxy has a different work. Okay. Proxy also does the firewall kind of work, but it has different work. We'll understand proxy here. But stateful firewall, stateless firewall, deep packet inspection firewall, that we have to explore. Do not add a proxy as a firewall. Proxy, because firewall means security device. That is around proxy also somewhere in the community. You might say proxy firewall. But proxy generally we do not call as firewall. It's a different security device.
Okay.
Okay. We'll wind up the day. We'll connect on Monday at the same time, 8 o'clock. Make sure you join on time.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank
you,
you
sir.
patience to solve my.
Bye. So make sure that you mark your attendance or comment. Okay, what was your learning experience and what we have learned today?
Sir.
Hello, sir. I have one question.
Yes. Next question now. We'll take so. Who is asking now? Nikki.
Nikki, yes. Sir.
Go ahead now. First.
Sir, in which case we need a dynamic static IP in DHCP server?
In case you want to make your services live, I have given an example, right? Dominers should have fixed address, should not be changed. So people can reach to dominers. In that case, when you are hosting any website, website should have fixed address, fixed IP address. Any server should have fixed IP address so that people can access it. Get it, right? So in that case, you should have static IP address.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you on next time. Next time.
There's a question on the chat.
Next time on. Next day on.
There's a question on the chat board.
What question? I can't see. Does SOC,
someone asked, does yes.
Does SOC monitor have monitor logs all the time within a SIEM? Yes, but not billions of logs. When you have SIEM tool, then you have to monitor alerts, not the base logs, because logs are in billions. You can't monitor each and every log. So you have certain 100 to 100 alerts within the SIEM. We will try to minimize it because 100 to 100 alert will not be always incident. There may be 3-4 incident in a SIEM. Fine tune the condition means we'll change the condition why the alert has been triggered. It's not an incident. Fine tune those to minimize the number of alerts. But maximum in ideal situation you'll have 100 to 100 alerts. To the billions of logs, you can only monitor 100 to 100. And that too, you'll not be the only one. We have 4, 5, 6 people, depending on how big is the company, how many logs are coming. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate this. One question I have is on YouTube. I'm unable to comment on YouTube. I can only like, but I cannot comment.
I don't know. It may be a problem on your account then. You may try with another account. You may try with, because everybody is able to comment, right? You are.
So I am also facing that issue.
Is it? You search on Google and let me know. Problem is from where and my end, my channel end, from your end. You search in Google. I'm able to like, but I'm not able to comment. What is the reason? See, let me show my screen. Let me show my screen. Live comment means I think you are not able to, you are not saying on the right way. You check with the desktop. Now you check on your desktop, okay? Because now comment section has been changed. It was bottom in previously, now it is on top. For example, this is your YouTube, right? For example, this video I want to comment, right? If you're trying with mobile, right? If you're trying with mobile, you don't see like this. You don't see like this. Previously, you used to comment. When you see the comments are in bottom. Now the comment section on the top here. You have to check it. Sometimes you miss that because the comment section on the top. It is not giving option to write. You will have some comment. Click on comment, then only the writing pad will open. That may be the reason you are not seeing. If you are writing somewhere, but it is not being posted, then only there will be problem. No, you said you are not seeing the comment also, right? Because you did not see that it is in top.
I'm not seeing this one showing comments. When I click even live chat, it's not even active at all.
You don't have to click on live chat. You have to click on comment section.
I'm not even seeing comments at all.
You're not seeing?
No, I'm not seeing comments.
I don't think so it will happen. I don't think so. For example, let me try. Let me check. Right? Okay. Let me check. YouTube. What is live is happening? Here it is, right? This is live. See, I'm doing live also. I'm seeing my whole video and being live also. You can see it here in the live. So more. And the live comment section is not coming. Is it?
You can only like, but you cannot comment.
In live chat is not coming. Huh?
You only see the comments after the live is over. you will now be able to comment. Once the live is over, you'll now be able to comment. When you want to reward.
But here command center.
Live chatting only we can do here.
Now this is the comment section. But live it is not showing. I think might be some setting was there. But after publishing the video, you'll be able to comment like this. Okay, but live, why it is not commenting? I'll check it out. Maybe some teacher is not or something.
All right, please. After the publishing the video, you can check again, please, to confirm.
But
for me,
previous video will be able to comment, but live video I think is not. I'll check it out. What is the setting?
You can check the previous video so that you see your comments. Check the previous one, maybe the one on Monday.
Previous video can comment it, but only live video it is not showing the comment right now to do the comments. I'll check that out. For me, it is not showing. For me, it is not showing live chat also. For me, it is not showing live chat also. Let me check. Let me check with some other user. Okay. Let me check whether, because I am the owner of that channel, right? May possible that because of that. It is not
sir, the live chat was on your right side.
It's a right side.
Yes, sir.
Model problems ke model solution ne mandu.
Where is that? But it's only still. Why it is so slow? Here it is so slow. Video is running. What is this? But it was right side. This is live chat.
Yes,
right?
sir. They just. Yes, sir. The live chat.
It is live chat. It's not comment section. There is no
After
comment
the live
section.
chat, you will now see comments. Once the video has been published, once there's live chat, you will not see comments. So once the comment has ended, in their latest update.
After publishing anything live, that will happen. But I'll check it out whether in live chat also, in live session also we can comment or not. I think comment option should be there. You know? On live chat, I don't know. I'm not very sure, but I think comment section should be there, but it's not there right now. I'll check this out. Okay, thank you guys for joining. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, sir.